So I had to get out just for a bit, needed some quiet, needed to think. And this is one of those topics that's been sitting with me for a while now. So let's just get into it. Spiritually drained. You know that feeling, exhausted, but not from work, not from lack of sleep. A different kind of tired. The kind where you're going through the motions, but something underneath feels empty, hollow, like you're running on a battery that just won't charge no matter how much you rest. If that's you, right now, I want to walk through some real reasons why that happens and what actually helps. Let's get into it. First thing, and this one's simple, but people miss it constantly. You can't pour from an empty cup. You've heard that before, I know, but think about how true that actually is. A lot of you are giving to your job, your family, your friends, people who need you, and you haven't stopped to ask, when was the last time anybody poured into you? When was the last time you actually let yourself receive instead of constantly being the strong one, the one everybody leans on? That's not sustainable. It was never meant to be sustainable. Even the most giving, most loving people you can think of, they still needed rest. They still needed to step away. And if you don't build that in intentionally, your body and your spirit will eventually force the issue for you through burnout, through irritability, through this exact feeling of being drained that you're sitting with right now. I think a lot of us got taught somewhere along the way that needing rest is some kind of weakness, that a good person just keeps going, keeps giving, never asks for anything back. And I get where that comes from, I do, but that mindset will hollow you out eventually. It's not noble to run yourself completely empty. It's not selfish to need something poured back into you. Those are two different things, and a lot of us never learn the difference. Second thing, and this one's a little harder to admit, sometimes we're drained because we're carrying things that were never ours to carry. Other people's moods, other people's problems, other people's expectations of who we should be. You ever notice how some relationships just leave you tired every single time, even if nothing bad happened? No argument, no big moment, just tired afterward, every time. That's usually a sign you're absorbing something, energy, emotion, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of you are so used to doing that, so used to being the emotional sponge in every room, that you don't even notice it happening anymore. It just feels normal. But normal and healthy aren't always the same thing. I want you to think back on your week. Actually think back. Which conversations left you lighter and which ones left you heavier? Which people, when you hang up the phone, when you leave the room, you feel like you can finally breathe again? That's information. That's real information about where your energy is going. And most of us never stop to actually look at it. And here's the part that's hard to hear. Sometimes the people draining you the most are people you love. That doesn't mean you cut them off necessarily, but it might mean you stop pretending it doesn't cost you something every time you show up for them. Naming the cost honestly is the first step toward actually managing it instead of just absorbing it silently until you crash. Third, and I think this is a big one, honestly, silence, or really the lack of it. When's the last time you sat in actual quiet? No phone, no music, no background noise, just quiet. For most of us, the answer is embarrassingly long. We've filled every gap, every spare second with input, scrolling, watching, listening, and our spirit never gets a chance to just settle, to process, to breathe. Constant noise is exhausting in a way we don't always clock because it doesn't feel dramatic in the moment. It just slowly drains you day after day until you wake up one morning and you can't quite explain why you feel so empty. Think about it like this. If your phone never got to recharge, if you just kept using it, never plugged it in, eventually it dies, right? Doesn't matter how good the battery is. And we do that to ourselves constantly. We fill every waiting room moment, every red light, every quiet second before bed with more input, more noise, more stimulation. And we wonder why we feel depleted. There's no recharge happening because we never gave ourselves the chance to plug in. Fifth thing, and I almost didn't include this one, but I think it matters, unresolved guilt and shame. A lot of people are spiritually drained because they're carrying something they never actually dealt with. A decision, a season of their life, something they did or something that was done to them, and instead of bringing it into the light, they buried it. And buried things don't go away. They just sit there quietly taking up energy in the background of your life, like a phone app running constantly that you forgot to close. You don't always notice the cost of carrying something like that because you've adapted to it. It's become your normal. But I promise you, the moment you actually deal with it, actually bring it somewhere honest, whether that's prayer, a conversation, a counselor, whatever that looks like for you, you'll feel a lightness you forgot was possible. Most people don't even know how heavy they've been carrying something until they finally put it down. So what actually helps? A few things, practically. Start small with boundaries. Protecting your time and energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. You don't have to overhaul your whole life overnight, but start saying a few honest no's. Start protecting a few hours a week that are actually yours. Build in actual quiet, even 10 minutes a day. No input, just stillness. I know that sounds small, almost too small to matter, but consistency matters more than intensity here. 10 honest minutes a day will do more than one dramatic retreat once a year. Pay attention to which relationships leave you full and which ones leave you depleted, and be honest with yourself about that. You don't have to act on it immediately, just start noticing. Awareness alone changes how you show up, and reconnect, even in small ways, with whatever it is that feels meaningful to you. Even 5 minutes a day moving towards something that matters can shift how drained you feel. Purpose doesn't have to mean quitting your job tomorrow. Sometimes it just means doing one small thing a day that actually feels like you. This isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about noticing the pattern and making small, honest adjustments, one at a time.